Hi everyone, in this lesson we are going to practice task 2 of the IELTS academic writing test. For many students this is the hardest part of the IELTS exam. Before we start, please download and print off the following attachments: the question paper and the blank answer sheet. As I have mentioned before, it is very important in the exam not to open the question paper until you are told to do so. However, as this is the second part of the writing test, i.e. task 2, you have already written your name and candidate number in the spaces on the top of the question paper and answer sheet from completing task 1. The essay you have to write for task 2 may look very difficult when you read the question, but it is no different to writing any other essay. As long as you answer what you are being asked, you are halfway to getting your level 9 band score. Okay, let's get started. For task 2, it says you should spend about 40 minutes on this task, which is something you already know from the previous lesson. Then it tells you to write about the following topic. It says, a person's worth nowadays seems to be judged according to social status and material possessions. Old-fashioned values such as honour, kindness and trust no longer seem important. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Again, from the previous lesson, we know that we would have to give reasons and examples to support our answer. Then it says write at least 250 words, which we know from the previous lesson means that it must be at least 250 words. To get the highest possible score in task 2, you need to understand how you are being marked. You will be marked on your ability to answer the question, on your grammar and vocabulary, as well as your ability to structure your essay and use connective words. Structuring your essay means having an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Your body needs to be 2 paragraphs, no more and no less. Connective words are words that link sentences and paragraphs to improve the flow of your writing. Here are some examples of connective words: to begin with, however, and for instance. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we have to write is our introduction. Your introduction only needs to be a few sentences that state some basic facts and whether you agree or disagree with the statement. I always tell my students to try and keep your introduction to 3 sentences. Your introduction is the most important paragraph in your essay, as it shows the examiner if you understand the question. To get a high mark in your essay, all you need to do is simply paraphrase the statement, give some basic facts, and say whether you agree or disagree. So our introduction will be something like, given the power and influence of the super rich, it might seem as if social status and material possessions are the new symbols of personal wealth. But in everyday life, I do not think this is true. This is a perfect introduction and is the model answer provided by IELTS for this question. Now that we've done the introduction, we can move on to the body of the essay. The body of the essay must consist of 2 paragraphs. Now read what they are asking you to do again. They are asking you, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Give reasons for your answer and relevant examples. Okay, so where do you start? You know you have to write 2 paragraphs, but what do you write about? Where do you start? Well, something I tell my students is that each paragraph should have 1 main idea and you use sentences to support this idea. So essentially you are talking about one thing in each paragraph and using reasons and examples in that paragraph to support that idea. Let's look at the model answer for the first paragraph provided by IELTS. It is apparent that most celebrities today are admired or envied solely for their material wealth or position in various social hierarchies. Many of these people are known to turn their backs on friends, cheat on spouses, or spend their evenings overindulging in alcohol and/or drugs. Things like owning a mansion, driving an expensive car, and getting into A-list parties are exalted above old-fashioned values. Ultimately, though, it is the many readers of gossip magazines and celebrity blogs who reinforce these ideas. Now that you've written your first paragraph, we now need to look at the second paragraph. A perfect answer for this next paragraph, as provided by IELTS, would be: nevertheless, I do believe that in their day-to-day lives, most people still believe in values such as honour, kindness, and trust. In some ways, most of us want to form loving families, raise our children to be good citizens, stand up for the underprivileged, and protect our communities from harm. We still form friendships, romances, and business partnerships based on old-fashioned criteria. When our trust is abused or we are unfairly treated, we see this as a major violation of our relationship, and we judge the wrongdoer accordingly. The last part of your essay is your conclusion. Your conclusion should be short and relevant. Many students struggle with the conclusion as they do not know what to write, and in turn often write too much or too little. Like your introduction, I would try to keep your conclusion to no more than 3 sentences. In your conclusion, you should give a concluding phrase, give your opinion, and use information from the body of your essay to support your opinion. It is important to reword this information from the body of the essay to show the examiner you are worthy of a band score of 9. The conclusion in the model answer provided by IELTS for this question is the following. In conclusion, I believe there is some truth to the notion that status and possessions have superseded old-fashioned values as a measure of a person's wealth. Looking beyond the tabloids, however, it is apparent that most ordinary people have still preserved an old-fashioned conscience. This is the end of your essay. To do well on task 2 of the writing test, it is important to structure your essay correctly. In other words, having an introduction, 2 paragraphs in the body of your essay, and a conclusion. Don't write too much and don't write too little. The examiner is looking for quality, not quantity. Write clearly, read the question carefully. Plan what you are going to say. Spend more time on task 2 than on task 1. Make sure what you are writing is grammatically correct. Don't have any spelling mistakes. Use connective words where possible. Practice as many IELTS academic writing test task 2 questions as possible. Best of luck, and I'll see you in the next lesson.